How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Sonic Adventure DX. Well, it looks like Tails and Amy made it off the egg carrier safely, so that's good. Still no sign of Sonic, though. And Amy's not wearing the warrior feather.
That's Eggman! I wonder what happened to Sonic.
I'm finished. Chaos was defeated, and now my egg carrier is ruined. No matter. I will destroy Station Square anyway.
Uh-oh, that's not good.
If that missile is launched...
Ready? Fire!
Yes, that's how it will go. Let's put this plan into action, shall we?
If that missile is launched...
Ready? Fire!
Well, looks like we're all doomed, folks. Better tuck your head between your legs and kiss your ass goodbye now! Huh. Well, that wasn't so bad at all. Not nearly as bad as I thought it was gonna be.
Ah! No, it was a dud. I can't believe this. Ah, I'll go and deal with it myself.
Oh no! I'd better get to that missile before he detonates it! I see it! I've got to get it before Eggman. The fate of Station Square depends on me. Sonic! I've changed a lot since I've started hanging with Sonic. But I can't depend on him forever. I know I can do this by myself. Okay, Eggman, bring it on!
Well, that's a life-altering decision you made there, Tails. Becoming more independent isn't usually that easy, kid. But now we come to my favorite iteration of my favorite level in the game, Tails' version of Speed Highway.
You think you can keep up with me? Tails, wait for me!
Oh, I'll never get used to that quote. But yes, now instead of racing Sonic for the LOLs, we're actually racing Dr. Eggman for the fate of Station Square itself. Because if we don't get to the missile in time, that nuclear explosion might just become a reality. But I really, really love Tails' version of this this stage because it really gives you the sense of the speed and the scale that I was talking about in Sonic's stage, but it gives you a little bit more of a, a sense of urgency to it. Mostly because of the fact that when you were running through this with Sonic, there was really no reason to be running through it, and now when you're running through it with Tails, the fate of the entire city is in your hands, so it relies on you going relatively quickly to your destination, and you're flying through most of the entire environment, and if you're not flying, you're running at decently high speeds for, it's not Sonic speed, but it's pretty close. So I really love how they handled Tails' iteration of this stage. It gives you that sense of speed and scale, and it's just an all-around great level, I think, and it really goes along with the plot. The plot really drives it home as a really good level, in my opinion. Unfortunately, it's nearly impossible to lose this level because Dr. Eggman is slow as molasses and does not pinball like Sonic does, at least not in this iteration. I think in the A rank levels he pinballs a little bit more, but not in this one. So once you run to the end of this little platform here, you win and you can disarm the bomb, or the missile in this case, I guess you could say, so that's great. I guess Eggman wasn't so urgent about getting that missile after all. Serves him right.
Oh no! It's Robotnik! So you beat me to the missile, you little pest. I will make you all pay for this.
Let's get out of here!
You fool. Away, before I make mincemeat out of you.
I'm not scared. I'm not scared. I can do this.
Holy shit, Eggman. He's 8 years old, man. You don't tell an 8-year-old you're gonna grind him into powder and then use him as a pie. But anyway, we're facing off against the Egg Walker, Tails' final boss. And the winner of this battle will determine the fate of Station Square itself. And, well, obviously we're going to win, but it's a little bit more epic this way. So basically, you have to hit the blue energy cores on the thing's legs in order to disable its legs when it stomps like that. And then you have to hit the red core on the top of the Egg Walker, which is directly behind the cockpit. Now, it'll fall in a specific direction, and that direction where the red power thing is on the top of it, behind the cockpit, will depend on the last leg that you hit. So you'll want to basically, if you hit a leg behind the thing, you'll want to stay behind it so that you can hit the red power core back there. I've heard you can also do this by just spin tail attacking into him, but I've never found as much success with that, mostly because of the fact that whenever that happens, I get hurt, and I don't like doing that too much. The thing will walk around and it'll hurt you pretty badly, and then when it jumps, it also releases bombs for pretty much the entire field around it. Like, if you're not under the Egg Walker when it jumps like this, it'll release bombs that will come down and generate pretty large explosions, so you want to be out of the way there. This part's particularly tough because there's 3 legs you have to disable, although with the spin tail attack, it really doesn't make it all that difficult. So his final boss wasn't terribly difficult, but it was definitely quite epic, and I really have to give them some props for finishing Tails' story this way.
Hey, I did it!
You saved the day! You're the best!
I did it all by myself.
Nice job, Tails. And that's Tails' game, ladies and gentlemen. This one is probably, as I said in Gamma's story, my favorite story in the entire game. And I'll get into that in a second, but I guess from Tails' ending there, we could see that Sonic's okay. Well, I mean, of course he's okay. He's the main character of the series. They're not gonna kill him off or anything, are they? So Tails' ending theme and the motif that played throughout his game is called Believe in Myself, and I forget who it was by, but, well, you'll see once you click on the description link down below there once we're done with this video, since you probably want to hear it without me talking over it. But yes, Tails' story, as I said, is probably my favorite in the game. It just barely squeaks out Gamma's, because Gamma's is, you know, it's really touching and a really sad story. But at the same time, I love the dichotomy of Tails' story so much, and it's just head and shoulders above, I think, than most of the stories in the game. Like, what I'm basically talking about, like, you're playing Sonic's game, and you've probably seen, because a lot of the scenes I've showed of Dr. Robotnik and or Dr. Eggman in the cutscenes of the playthrough have been from Sonic's perspective, or basically other characters besides Tails' perspective. Because honestly, I think Tails' dialogue was rehashed pretty well. Well, Tails himself, his dialogue was rehashed for most of his playthrough, but you really get a sense of, in Sonic's story, you know, Dr. Eggman is kind of like, oh yeah, he's the main villain and blah blah blah, but you don't get a sense of the evil behind him. And in Tails' story, you really get a sense of how evil Dr. Eggman is, because in Sonic's story he's kind of like, yeah, over the top and blah 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 with his voice, but in Tails' story, Dr. Eggman is sinister and evil as crap. Like, he is crazy in this story. They had Dean Bristow do his voice in Tails' story so that he sounded a lot more evil, probably because it's from Tails' perspective, and as I said, he's like really young by comparison to Sonic. I don't know if he's actually 8 years old in this game or how old he actually is. But he's considerably younger than Sonic, so he would have a more evil perspective on Eggman for pretty much the entire story. And, you know, you kind of start out Tails' story, oh, well, you know, we're following in Sonic's footsteps because that's what we've been doing for the past, you know, however many games it's been since Tails was introduced. He was first introduced in Sonic the Hedgehog 2, so he's been doing that for quite a few games at this point. He had his own games on the Game Gear, which we'll get into later, some of them anyway. But that'll be in the bonus episodes. But he really didn't get into his own element for any of the main, you know, main titles or main games. You can play as him by himself in some of the main titles, like Sonic the Hedgehog. I think you played as him in Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and in 3. I know you could play as him by himself in 3, but he pretty much ran through the same levels as Sonic, and he did pretty much the same thing Sonic would do. So it was kind of just like a, you know, an extra character skin that you would stick on or something to that effect. But once he leaves the egg carrier in the story, that changes dramatically. The fate of Station Square is in his hands, and Sonic is not there to help him for this entire thing. And I think he handles it so well, considering how abrupt the situation is, and just, it gives you a sense of just how evil Dr. Eggman is, and just how courageous Tails really is to follow in Sonic's footsteps for as long as he's been following in Sonic's footsteps. It's a really great dichotomy. The characters bounce off of each other perfectly, and I absolutely love Tails' story for it. It's, as I said, it's my favorite in the game. It barely squeaks out Gamma's because I really have an emotional attachment to Gamma, but Tails is just done so well in this game. His gameplay is the best it's been for a long time, the best it's going to be, and his character is great in this game. I love Tails' story. It's my favorite. So, but yeah, that's all for that one. It was really enjoyable for me for Tails, even though this one was kind of spread a little thin, just like Knuckles' story was. But I really enjoyed playing through Tails' story, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. But how did Amy react to the missile crisis? Find out in the next episode of Sonic Adventure DX, where we'll be finishing up her game. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next time. Take care.